in the next set, I was able to, I'm doing online reading for pre-K and kindergarten. Well, I don't think I'm gonna have to tell any of you to quit picking your nose and keep the scissors away from your hair. So this is day to day. So here we go. Next slide. Stability encourages risks and stronger and better thinking. I truly believe that if your whole entire community and staff are feeling the stability from you, then they can take the risks that you're allowing them to take and encourage them to think outside of the box, because you're not going to get anywhere if we don't in this time frame. We've got to be thinking, what else can I do? What more can I do? How can I do it differently? So the stability within the campus, the community, the parents are huge. That word right now, stability, is a big thing with this COVID. So here we go. Okay, next slide. Our goals today, go ahead and read those. I won't read them to you. Overall, on the one takeaway, 2 points to use immediately. I always say if I can have you laugh at least one time and take 1 or 2 things away, I've done my job. So you're in charge of your own learning. So hopefully you'll take away something that you can use, but and to have a little laugh there. Building growth mindsets. We were doing it even with preschool last week when I was the assistant or the director. So I know growth mindsets can work all the way down to preschool. I truly believe in them. I just told you about my succession plan and then future needs that we need to look at. Go ahead. Any questions there?
I can't ask them to you because they've got no chat function, Cindy. I was just going to say again, I'm so sorry we don't have chat, but we will be doing polling and we do have a breakout planned. So we will get you opportunities to share and to talk amongst each other. So this is weird for us. We're so used to the chat.
And then I will also send, I don't think I gave them my email. I'd love to talk with them if they want to talk through email about some of the stuff I'm researching with this COVID. So go ahead. Next one.
Absolutely. So we'll include that, I guess, in the follow-up email then, Cindy. Sure. When we send a follow-up email, we'll include Cindy's email address so that you have that. So it's a big part of it, right? Having somebody to commiserate with during this time.
Yeah. Okay, hopefully you have a piece of paper there, a scratch piece of paper. Please take less than that, probably take you about 5 seconds to write down 2 items that are challenging you right now in your mind, right this second. If you're present, you're here. I know that there things are going on and people want you, but what are you absolutely being challenged with right now? 7 seconds. Okay, put those someplace where you can see them because we're going to discuss them in the session. I try not to have you do anything that we're not going to use or try to do later on. So, okay, we'll come back to those in a little bit. Time, right now we talked about stability and time. This is the perfect time to navigate through what you're going through, but these are the 4. When you keep looking at all the items that I've been talking to with charters and with schools, these are the 4 things that seem to be getting lost. The loss of the flexibility. Are you allowing flexibility within your community and your staff? Are you really understanding what they're going through? And I'm sure you are. I don't doubt 1 minute. A great leader would not be understanding, but they have a lot on their plates with having to do this. And compassion, they really, really need that. When you're on campus, it's very easy to give them that and high five. And I know they're on and off, but are you really taking enough time to listen to them, check in with them, do that dipstick to say, how's it going? Throw in something about their, life if you can, or you haven't, always that one-on-one. How is that soccer league going, or how's your child doing, or how's Johnny in your classroom doing? They just need to know that you've got the time and you're using it to understand the whole ramifications that they're going through. And then of course kudos. I know it's a different way to be kudoing them, but whether it's a email, whether it's a note when they come on campus, those old-fashioned, I know paydays have peanuts, but it's always nice to have an extra payday in their box, something that's saying what what they're doing great. It's easier to come back to them and say what they're not when you've, just like children, when our students, when you've given them enough kudos of what they're doing right to come back and say, I don't feel we hit the nail on the head in this area. So
Filling up the emotional piggy bank, right?
that's what the hugest thing. They
Putting them in
say,
so that if you have to take them out, they're there to take out.
right, if you've been reading with a Savvy Principal and Education Week and the current research, that SEL now, which is huge, SEL, write that down. Social and emotional learning is the new SEI. I mean, we're always going to have the SEI, but the SEL is showing that their emotional learning and ours are really taking a hit. And I'm sure you've looked at if you've done your Galileo or your Dibbles or whatever testing that you do at the beginning, you're seeing the 40 to 60% drop off. They certainly are in a lot of schools because of the COVID. So they really need that compassion, that understanding, and the kudos right now to be able to get home on that. Questions for I can't even raise my hand. Okay, I'm sorry. Now I'm really having to be flexible myself.
I'm trying to work behind the scenes to get it to fix itself, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to fix itself.
Okay. Go ahead. Next slide. Okay, we're going to take a poll. Go back to those real fast. Run one more. Go back, one back. Carol, look at that. Okay. Take a deep breath, everyone. Take a deep breath. Be in the moment. Okay. Out of these four, flexibility, understanding, compassion, and kudos, what are you feeling that you need to work on the most now? There's no names, so don't care. And this is for you to learn. So take the poll. We're going to submit it to you right now. What area do you think you need to develop? And this is going to be your personal goal. I can't hold it to you, and neither can anyone else, but we all need to be working on something right now. And I know we have so much, but
results are coming in, Cindy. You've got almost 30 responses out of 66.
Yay!
Kudos. It looks like it's coming in. We're waiting on about 20 more people. I'll share the results here. A few more minutes. Let's get everybody to respond. If you haven't responded to the poll, what's funny is it's coming back. Mostly people are saying kudos. They need help with kudos. And I would agree with that so much. You don't see people in the hallway, so you aren't doing the immediate feedback. Oh, we've got just a few more people that need to respond. It's so hard to think about interesting and ways to provide good, positive feedback when you don't see them every day, or I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I need the kudos, somebody to give me a pat on the back. Okay, it looks like the responses, we've got 80% of you have voted. Is there anybody, last few seconds here, anybody else want to put in a response? Okay, I will end the poll and I will share the results. You should all be able to see. Can you all see the results there?
Okay, kudos, 51, yeah, we do. We have to really work on that. From what I'm hearing with the staff and the teachers, you really are understanding where they're at. I really kudos to you on that. I'm going to give you kudos because we don't look in the mirror enough as administrators to know and say, oh, I'm doing an all right job on that. I'm doing okay with that. So they must see your flexibility, which is great. They must be seeing your understanding and what they're going through, and the compassion is coming through great if we're not only 70%. Kudos, you've got to start thinking about how different ways that you can do that. Something in their mailbox, something on their door when they're coming back. There's so many different options, and I don't know which each one. I couldn't go through the 71 schools. I should have maybe, but if you're in a hybrid and half are coming on and half aren't coming off, how are you able to do that? Can you put something on their desk? Can you put something on their door? The ones that are coming in, can you do a 5-second kudos to them when they come in? And the ones that are online, I know that we're having some fun online presentation kudos where teachers or administrators are asking them to run and get a blue shoe, and whoever got the blue shoe first had a present when they came back in. I know that's not really kudos, but it's just a break in having some fun for that. Or if you challenge them to give you a piece of data, and you're kudoing them in different ways to give them ways to show you that they're doing what you're asking them to do.
You know,
But
we did a couple of on our YouTube channel. There's a couple of videos on there, and we'll share the YouTube address
oh,
with you guys. But there's one on specifically on digital celebrations, so ways that you can celebrate digitally, which was kind of a fun one for us to make, and another one on digital badging. So you could give them like little badges that are digital online kind of badges. That was kind of fun too. So just some different ideas there that you might want to think about. So some neat stuff there.
yeah, good. Okay, so make sure you have that down in the YouTube videos. I'm sorry we can't talk about that a little bit more, because I'm sure you are the administrators and probably have lots of different ways to be able to share with others of how you're doing it. But don't forget to take time to do that. Even if you write it on your calendar, kudos this week, and that's one of your main focuses, all the different ways that you can do it.
That's a good idea. Put it on your calendar so you don't forget.
You need to have it right in front of you.
Scheduled kudos. I like it. Scheduled kudos.
You schedule our observations. We schedule our kudos. Everyone needs it, and there's always someone that falls behind or needs it twice as much as somebody else. So good. Okay. Growth mindset. Oh, I love growth mindset. So go ahead and you read the purple part. And this is from Carol Dweck. She's out of Stanford University. I apologize. Go ahead. And a little bit before you read the left, or we talk about it, she's out of Stanford University. Her whole focus is mindset, psychological traits, and the traits that you have and you don't have. Her TED Talk, if you want to write that down someplace if you have a chance, and I know we're all super busy, but her TED Talk is on the field of motivation and why people succeed or don't, and how others do it and why. And then she has a great one on the power of yet. Carol was talking to me about that, so I went and listened to it. And it's almost like we were doing with our preschool and kindergarten last week. I'm looking at it because I want to make sure. There's a really neat mindset that you can print off for pre-K to second grade. And it says, instead of, I can say this. And so like when a student says, I am not good at this, the next thing is, well, I'm not good at this yet, but I am learning to do it better. Even for us, I think if you polled a lot of, well, no, I better be careful stereotyping, people that had a hard time going from online, in person to online, we all had our own problems, but I think we're all getting there because we know that we can learn it, just we didn't have it yet. The minute they said March 27th, we're going online, that was my heart palpitated, because I didn't know it all yet. So please look up Carol Dweck, and pretty good for 2015. It's only 5 years, her quote on studies, but she's right up to the date as of today. But I like that quote the most.
Yeah, I love that too, Cindy, because I love, it looks like chat's working now, which is really exciting. We should have said chat isn't working yet. And now I think it is working. So I think you guys can join us in the chat finally. Woohoo.
Go back to time and then go ahead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Somebody tested it besides Marnie, but Marnie was able to get it to work. So, but yeah, I love this idea of the power of yet. And if you haven't watched this, you guys, I really do encourage it, because it's just it's a change in mindset. The minute you can see the light bulbs click on when you say that to people, when they're feeling very negative about themselves, or they're feeling like they can't get something done, then you say, okay, maybe you can't right now, but just yet, you're on your way, you're learning new skills, and you're developing those skills. And I have to tell myself that every day on something like, I can't do this. And I have to remind myself, well, you can't do it yet, Carol, you can. So it looks like Marnie can chat, but maybe nobody else can. Oh, Marnie, darn it.
Well, and with the growth mindset, I think you need to keep in mind this next part. As a leader, you're bringing your, I'm asking, are you bringing your full selves to your campus at your day-to-day work? And we have so much on our plates. And I'm sure just as like we were talking about Zoom changing every day, I can't imagine from the upstairs superintendent's office, all the changes coming down and waiting for the governor to speak every Thursday about what's coming down and how we're changing it. But you really need to think about, are you bringing your whole self to work? And when you get there, are you staying in first gear? Are you staying in second gear? Or you're giving yourself your whole capacity, or using the whole capacity you have there for the day? And I was a principal at a very low socioeconomic area, so I know the challenges, and I can't even imagine what you're going through right now. But those children need to know, and the teachers need to know, just like Carol said about yet, if you're in your full capacity, you can lead them to their growth mindset and have them come in to learn something new from either the classroom teacher next door or possibly you, of what they can do to bring the engagement and the growth mindset to their students. Because I truly believe that students are learning that now. It almost needs to be like we're starting in preschool, that it should be going on and on and on and on and on. It should be almost like a mandate that the kids all the way in preschool need to know that their growth mindset can be changed by learning things a little harder and more difficult, just as we do as educators. No questions about that. I guess we still can't get it working. No.
So.
Okay, or not. So great one. I just love this. Yeah, I think that should be up everywhere. It should be in the copy room. There are no barriers. There are absolutely no barriers. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. You can do it. We just might not have done it yet, but they need to really know that. I just love that slide. Yeah. And then the next one we really can't. Oh, Carol, go ahead.
No, I was gonna agree with you. I think that the more you remind people of this, the better off you're going to be, right? And we're talking about courageous leadership, right? Well, it's really difficult to be a courageous leader if you don't have the mindset of a courageous leader. So really bringing that forward and sharing that with your staff as well.
And I really believe that it needs to start with every single student understanding that. And if it needs to be a conversation, even if it started in your campus in 5th grade or 8th grade, or like we are doing way down at Blessed Sacrament Preschool, that growth mindset is huge. And for them to understand it at their lowest ability. Even just a little boy, I was riding his bike and he couldn't do it. So I was helping him with his feet on there, you know, and he was so frustrated that he couldn't. But we talked about that, you know, like I said, at 4 years old, well, your growth mindset, and you use those words. They need to hear those words. We don't have to stop and not talk about that. Your brain hasn't made your feet know what you're doing and going through. We had a ball, and by the end of the 5 days, not that I showed him how, but all watching all the kids and stuff, he was able to do that. You know, so just little things like that. Go ahead. And you know, our next slide, I think, is, yeah, I would love to talk about this, but I guess
yeah. So, but I mean, I think you can just stop and think about it for a moment, and we'll move along because we don't have chat working. And the idea was we were going to have you share some things.
Yeah.
But you know, just a suggestion: if you have not, hopefully many of you have watched Carol Dweck's work surrounding growth mindset and her videos. If you haven't, I really would encourage you to read the book and watch the video. Great information about how you do that. We did a whole book study. I used to work for the Department of Education, and we actually as a team did a whole book study on growth mindset together so that we could think through, I mean, imagine that working for state government, right? Growth mindset, state government, it doesn't seem to go together, right? right?
Oxymoron. Yeah.
But we had to think about it in our context, right? So at what points can we have a growth mindset and how do we push that? And how do we push against those fixed mindsets that don't really want us to change what we're doing? So, think about it in yourself. Maybe that piece of paper that Cindy had you writing on, maybe think of some things that you could do after this webinar that might help you to grow in your growth mindset point of view.
Well, there's your next PD. The next
Yeah.
is for everybody to watch TED Talk and watch Carol. And I was always looking for great ones. There's your next PD.
Love it.
Already done for you. So anyway, write that on your piece of paper since we can't talk about it. And then we have your takeaway on that piece of paper right now. Write one thing about growth mindset, one word, one sentence, something about growth mindset. Already, you can say doing it already, it's perfect, Carol Dweck, TED Talk, something about the takeaway, because we could use this when we do our breakouts. Okay. Another one I really like, succession plans. I'm going to read a little bit of stuff I have down on it. Creating strategic long-term leadership capacity in turn potentially yields significant returns and improves student outcomes. They said the more you retain your staff, and yes, you've got those that have to move away, or their husband got a job, or their significant other got a job, or their partner had to move. I understand that. But they said the more you can keep your community of educators together, the returns on that have improved student outcomes. And there's a big, huge study come out of Stanford doing that as well, keeping those leaders on campus. And succession plans, they must be developed. You know that. They really need to be developed. You need to be looking at the leadership of what they have. Even when I'm on campus for some of the mentoring that I'm doing, I'll see someone that I think is doing amazing, and I'll say something to the, oh good, we got people coming on. Say something to the whether it's the principal, the assistant principal, are you aware how phenomenal this person's doing with leading? I did a huge activity with Sunset Hills, and this one girl just kept rising to the top and taking on responsibilities and led some meetings amazing. So I wanted to make sure that the principal knew that she should be nudging her. You don't want them to leave, but you really need to be working on them. And I call it growing the bench. I think it's a neat way to look at that as you're creating your bench of amazing educators. One might be absolutely amazing at developing community relations. One might be absolutely amazing at math potential. One might be amazing at behavioral management. You're growing your team and letting them understand that they are being acknowledged for their leadership capacity and ability. And it really changes the whole landscape when there's others that can go to, rather than always coming to one person or two people or your cadre. You got this amazing cadre that maybe you handpicked or they voted, however it is. They're not the only ones on campus that know amazing material or amazing ways to educate, engage their students. So I really think that's huge. And one quote I like to say is, leadership capacity must be developed to ensure continuity in the positions and encourage individual advancement. There needs to be a pipeline. If someone didn't see that I had the ability, and I would have been a PE teacher for my whole life because my dad was the PT trainer out of Luke Air Force Base, but to say that I would be great inside the classroom, and then someone to say, well, you'd really be great as an administrator and then a mentor. Someone was watching, which I would have just been happy doing my enthusiastic PE my whole life, gave me the ability to continue to grow.
So Cindy, I'm just so excited. Do you see me smiling?
Why?
Chat is working.
Oh, yay. Hi, everyone.
Themselves okay. That is beautiful. I feel so
thank you. Okay.
And they're from all over the country. You've got people from everywhere here with you today.
Yay.
So exciting. So please, if you haven't introduced yourself, go for it. Do it in the chat. We're so happy that it's working.
Yay. I'm looking. Yeah. California, Fairfield. I'm looking.
All over the
Oh,
place.
everybody. If I could say hi to everyone.
Yes.
Oh,
So, and
yeah.
they had some
Growth
great ideas.
Mindset
One
Playbook.
person shared a great, it's a growth mindset handbook that they
Yeah.
shared. So everybody look in there and share your ideas in there too. So go ahead, Cindy. I'm sorry to interrupt. I was just
Oh,
so
no, no,
excited.
no, that's good. Hi. I mean, I wanted to say hi to everybody. Hi, hi, hi. Yay, I wish we could have done it earlier.
Oh, it's wonderful. That's okay. They're joining us now. Yay. I feel so good.
Takes a little while.
Oh,
Okay.
look, and they're making connections. People that work together at Nikisa.
Oh,
This is
good.
awesome.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Thank you, Marnie. She's my tech
Yeah,
goddess.
I know. Hi, Sister Mary Joseph. I'm trying to see the people as they come on from Loretto Catholic. Yay.
All over. I love it. All right. Thank you.
Hi, Lupita. Okay, go ahead and change the slide.
Okay.
Oh, like I said, there we go, building the bench. It's not about having the right person in the right seat on the bus, but who will sit there next. It was a big thing for me as a principal. They all knew that I said, I've got to have the right people on my bus. Because I was building a bus going forward. We were a D school when I took over, and we, in 5 years of building the right people on the right bus and kudo, and we became an A school, which no one thought we ever would in Paradise Valley School District. And so, and I won't take 1 ounce of credit for it, because I was acknowledging the people that were in the right place at the right time, really believing in multi-tiered system of instruction, and RTI huge. And then the people that were on the right seat took over, and yes, some I lost some to become principals, but that was the best thing for them. But we kept the same group of educators that whole way through, where the whole community and families really felt that we were about them, not leaving them in a lurch, not going to the next best school, but being true to who we were there and really wanting their kids to get the best education. So you really need to start doing that. I hope you wrote that down, succession planning. It's a big thing. I know we always thought about mentoring new teachers and getting them to go to the next, but succession planning really takes time and to develop them, to know, should Cindy, I'm just using my name, so Cindy go to this PD because that's her strength and I want her to come back to share it? Should Carol be going into the administrative field because I feel that's her best strength? And some, you just want them to be the best teacher in their classroom because that's where you need them at, and they're sharing with other people around them. But it's really important that you're thinking about that. Just like, we talked about growth mindset. That should be the next thing you're working on, is succession planning, because you're not always going to be there. You might be moving up, moving on, moving to the superintendent spot, you know, director of, engagement or whatever. So, yeah.
Cindy, I agree with you. I think that's a point well taken, because I know I actually went into the administration field a long time after I got my principal certificate. I waited for a really long time, and I finally went into it because my principal at the time came to me and said, have you considered? We really think that you would be a good candidate for. And I mean, yes, I'd considered it. Obviously, I had my principal certificate, but I was just like not quite there. And I made the leap, and I never looked back. It was really, it's empowering, I think, to have somebody come to you and say, hey, you look like you have a lot of capacity in this area. Would you be willing to take the next step, or would you take this training to advance yourself? So I think I love this quote that you put on there. It's about who will sit there next, not who's there right now. I love it.
And talking about kudos, there's a huge way to kudos somebody.
Yeah.
Even if they're not even thinking about it, they have young children at home or whatever the case, they're not even thinking about that, for someone to come to them then and just give them that's a huge, huge kudos. Yeah. And that.
Love it. Great point. Well taken. Thank you for sharing that.
Anybody want to add to that or say something about that in the chat?
Feel free in the chat. They've been sharing too. Jasmine has some great, it sounds like, ladies and gentlemen, if you need social emotional supports, you need to contact Miss Jasmine Gonzalez. She's got lots of stuff that she's got going on with Castle and different resources. So it's great.
Oh, good.
Mhm.
Oh, how funny. I'm looking at all the schools. Palo Verde, I started at Palo Verde Elementary School.
Mhm.
Okay, are you ready to pass the baton to the next person? I really like this slide. Are you, that's a huge, huge slide. Are you really ready? Could I ask you right now, what are the top 3 leaders on your campus? Yes, you probably know them. If not, the top 5. After the top 5, who's the next ones? That you're always continually moving that succession plan forward, even if you have to make a list and go down it. And succession planning isn't always about who's going to be a principal. It could be who's going to take over. We were huge into behavioral management and PBIS. Who was going to be my next leader in that PBIS? That's all they wanted to do. They were really good at it. And the one person retired. Who was going to be that? And if I didn't provide that in time, would I have had someone as wonderful as my next person, because I didn't get them ready. So it doesn't always have to be as who's going to be that huge next to principal, but taking over the math department, taking over, you just have to be ready.
Yeah, and Corey just shared the link to the grit scale. I love it. She says, see how gritty you are as a staff. So how
Yeah.
much grit do you have in your staff? I love it. That's a great resource. Thanks for sharing, Corey.
Yes. And will everyone be able to see all of these after?
Yeah, we'll collect up the links and make sure that they
can get them all. Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, and we're recording this session too.
Oh, good. Okay. Go ahead. This is just my favorite quote about succession planning.
No.
Yeah, if you plan to fail, and it goes back to even, yeah, if you plan to fail, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And we go by that always. Yeah, if you're not planning well enough in advance, yep, even in your daily lessons. So take away from that. Go ahead, next slide, takeaway. One takeaway from that, write it down. You might be using it in our mini breakouts. What's one takeaway from succession planning? You've got some great stuff in the chat. Or what would you like to ask somebody about when you get into your small breakout group?
Oh, so, and Rebecca shared one, I don't know if it's a takeaway, but just a piece of advice. Armchair Expert, a podcast. I've never heard of that podcast. I'll have to look that up, Rebecca.
Oh, I wouldn't either. Thank you.
Yeah. There's so many good resources online. My goodness. It's like I don't know where to start sometimes. There's so much.
Well, and all of the YouTube channels you guys have as well. People need to look at that right now.
So much.
I'm looking through. Yep, good. Okay. Next. And then we're anticipating that we'll talk a little bit in length about some of these. You're anticipating your future needs right now. From what I'm hearing and reading about in this new era of teaching that we're having is the trust, the pedagogy, and the communication. And there's a huge, I'm going to look it up, Andrea Johnson, if you want to write her name down, Andrea Johnson, a huge principal out of Texas, and talks tons about this, but this seems to be the theme if you've been reading Newsweek as well and your educational resources, that these are what's having to be really, really, really looked at right now. The trust in the relationships with the environment and the stakeholders. Are the parents trusting you that the children are in a great environment, safe? We were talking about that. I'm on a charter board, a board member. We're sending out a note every day to the parents because we have about 34% on campus, but the parents want to know. So every day we send out, we're all healthy, no COVIDs, whatever. So they know that they can start coming back in if they feel more comfortable. So that trusting relationship they're building with everyone on campus, letting the teachers know everyone's healthy, that we're all going to get through this. And because relationships right now are the hardest thing to be going on, even with them online and the teachers and the students online, that's a big difference when you're not physically there for them. and the
That's an
stakeholders.
interesting idea to send just a daily email update saying, here's what's going on at the school. That way the ones that aren't there are kind of getting a sense. That's a great idea.
Yeah, we do a shout out every day just so they know what's going on. And yes, I think that's huge with the trust going on with, because the parents right now, what's the most important part of their life? Their children. So whether you've got it down to a science and everything's absolutely amazingly clean and everything like that, they really worried about their child's education, but they're really worried about, do they have the trust to send them back to you? That's really what it is. You can be doing everything possible, but do they really have that? Or if you haven't yet, are they trusting you enough to know that they're getting what they need right now? Because it's really, 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 really hard. Parents are saying at least 50% or more, what the data is showing, that the parents are really, really, really struggling. Look at Nextdoor. Look, if you ever on Nextdoor, everyone's begging for people to help their 7th, 8th grade high school people in math and science, because the parents are working 8 hours and don't know how to do it. So they need the trust that you're going to help them get that through. So that's what I said about the environment, about coming back. That's your environment, relationships, and then the stakeholders that you are going to provide everything for them. Questions on that or comments about trust?
Yeah, you guys done anything to build trust that's working well for you? If you are, just put it in the chat, because I do agree. I think that is just a major factor as to whether or not the parents will send their kids back to you, right? It's that trust that you're going to keep them safe. Or I don't know, some of them maybe are just tired of their kids. They're sending them back anyway, but hopefully not too many of them.
Can you imagine? I can imagine working 8 hours a day and trying to, I know that's what we signed up as parents, but it's a whole different system. And pedagogy, there's talking, I know we have this whole set of, our curriculum that they need to get to. But I think we need to, and even look at the research right now, and Andrea Johnson is saying it too. The system of supports that we have will yield high academic expectations if we cut it down. I know we can't stop and not teach them what they need for that year, but if you were really looking, and I'd love to know at your site, what was your COVID loss in academics? I think that's where you need to start right now. And right now we're at the end of, should be, well, not 9 weeks, maybe 5, 6 weeks, that you need to know where you're at, because can you teach them a whole 9 months of their, let's say 6th grade, when they're coming in at the 2nd month of 5th grade, because they had a COVID drop of learning. So that pedagogy of what you're feeling, you need to get them for their academic expectations really needs to be looked at, not lowered by any means, but that's a big, huge task for this year of what is the most important takeaways for the year that they're in. And how are we going to get
really focusing on the vital learning and making sure you're filling in gaps.
The great big ideas. And I'm trying to read what someone said. Deborah had a great idea. So
yeah, for trust. Yeah, she did. They had family Zoom meetings because they couldn't do their open house. They did family Zoom meetings. A great idea. Philip said they've done Facebook Live meetings for parents so they can ask questions and meet other families. Great ideas, you guys, for building trust. Love it.
Good, thank you. Thank you. And same with pedagogy. I think the parents need to know that we're not starting at ground, I don't want to say that, I was at the year that they're in. That's very few, and I won't call out any names of schools, but very few are seeing that the children didn't lose 1 ounce. I mean, it's really, the research is showing that very few, and if it's grade levels, it's because it was the strongest set of grade level educators for that group, that they might not have lost as much as some of the other ones. And then how many students did we really lose totally? So pedagogy is going to really have to be thought about, of those big ideas that need to be addressed at each level. And pedagogy changes. I think that if you looked at yours, didn't yours change over time? I know that my first year, my pedagogy wasn't the same as my 5th year or my 10th year or my 20th year. So we really need to be looking at that to be held. Any questions about the others more coming in?
So again, more parent meetings in a virtual format. Brad shared with us. That's
Amen.
great. I love this communication one, Cindy, the knowns and the unknowns. What do you mean by that?
Well, when you as principals, you know what's coming down, the teachers don't know. So there's the known and the unknowns. They need to know. Sometimes I think we, as educators, sometimes don't let them know what's coming down as soon as we know it. The knowns, and sometimes they know what's going on at the ground level, and you're the one as the administrator that doesn't, it's the unknown for you. And not that you're not in touch, but sometimes it's a rumbling going on until you have someone say, hey, I'm open, come talk to me, because I know something's going on in there. So it's really both ways. You know, and they need to know what's coming down. The knowns need to be known to them. Don't keep them so they're hearing it from another school. Didn't you, as an educator, hate it when someone said, well, the school down the street's doing this, and your principal knew it and just didn't tell you about it? Everyone needs to be on the same playing field and given the same opportunity to know what they need to know and not be of the unknown. And then
when I read that, just to be honest with you, what I thought you meant by unknown was that you also need to communicate the stuff that you just don't have the answers to.
Oh, that's true. That's
unknown
true.
to me as well. You don't know it, I don't know it, and so let's be open about that.
Oh, that's true as well. That's it. And to be honest with that as well, I don't have an answer for that. Just like you didn't have an answer for me to get on. I was doing everything I could. I didn't know what I didn't know, and I was pretty capable of trying it. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head as well. And we need to be honest with that as well. If we don't know what's coming down the pike, or we don't know what the next, week is going to hold for the Department of Education, but they need to be able to hear it from you as well and not keep it sometimes that as kept.
I'm sorry, I'm chuckling because Teresa said through the COVID crisis, ... the unknown is our way of life. It is. I'm sorry. It is. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. And the next set of that communication is everyone needs to know, because you've got, and I don't know all of your 70 or however many are on, that the people that are on, did you tell the same thing to the people that came in on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Monday, Wednesday, the same thing as Tuesday, Thursday? That has to be really each group, stakeholders, even those speech teachers that come twice a week on your campus, are they being communicated the same exact conversation that you're having? Does everyone know the expectations on your campus for the week, for the day, or what's coming down? Everyone needs to have that communication that the same way, or you got to remember to make sure that they get it. Or the ones that decide that they aren't coming in, are they getting the exact same messages all the time that the ones that are on in campus learning are getting the same time? And I love, go ahead.
I was going to say, Jennifer brought up that you can leverage outside groups to help you with that, but I also think it's key what you just said to make sure that they have the right message, right? So you have to make sure you're connecting with them with the right message. I think that's what I heard you say, right, so that then they can share that message.
Right. Yeah, because if the people that aren't, the educators not feeling safe enough yet to come back on, they're not there every day for what you're saying, but are they still getting the same message no matter what? Are you taking that time to give them that? And stakeholders as well. Does the community know? And I just saw somebody about the Boys and Girls Club. Do they know what's going on your campus and environment, or the church group that's helping them, or the Boys and Girls? Everyone needs to know. It's a huge piece of this COVID puzzle is communication. And and it's causing lots of lots of headaches, I'm sure. And then I just like this for communication, especially for administrators. You can only make the best decision given the position and situation you're in. You can only do it. I've had to apologize a whole bunch of times as an administrator, thinking that I made the right decision right now, given what I knew about and the dishes, you know, everything that I had for me to make that decision was right there. And then if I had to come back, you come back. We all own it. You want your teachers to own it. So why can't they? Oh, sorry. That was my dog.
Dog's like, hello. I agree.
I'm just trying to read what others, parents as ambassadors. Yes. You got a good parent to go out there for communication. It's huge, huge. Any other ones? I saw.
I think that's it. You're pretty well. Oh, Monday minutes for the staff.
Yeah.
Oh, it includes kudos, reminders. Excellent.
Yes.
Mhm.
Nice.
Great. Thanks for sharing your ideas in the chat, everybody. I think it just helps everybody to think, oh, like, oh, maybe I didn't try that. Maybe I'll try that. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to your 2 items, challenge you right now. Go ahead. I was going to put you in breakouts, but let's not do that first since we have our chat up. Do you want to put some ideas in there and
Yeah, so maybe what are some things that are challenging you? If you're willing to share a challenge in the chat, maybe other people might have ideas about that challenge. Or maybe Cindy has a good idea about that challenge. She's experienced a few things. So anybody have a challenge that they're having right now relative to leadership that you think others could benefit from?
come on.
Students not participating in remote learning and parents not being supportive. Staffing, accelerating learning. That's one of the things we talked about, right? Teachers with great reservations regarding returning to campus with students. Yep.
Most
technology, virtual students not, a lot of it, just students not completing work, students not participating in remote learning.
Teachers are exhausted.
Climate
yes.
are exhausted. Oh. No kidding.
Yes, parents not accountable for students' behavior on Zoom. Well, keep going. Yeah, COVID.
Yeah, there's some good stuff.
I like that.
Yeah. I was on the phone with the principal this morning. We were actually talking about that idea of his staff is just exhausted. And so we actually talked through the idea of maybe doing sort of a restorative practices circle for one of the faculty meetings where, you know, even virtually, because we can do them virtually through Zoom, and just allowing people an opportunity to just connect with each other and take a deep breath might help. But yeah, motivation, social, emotional, online school, looking too much like in-person school. That's
trauma due to fires and displaced homes. I can't even imagine what's going on with that. Families, oh yeah, we just went on vacation, and that's what they were doing. People are saying, well, I can have my student be on anywhere. Why not go? And do you really think it's happening? There's just so much.
So if any of you have done anything that has sort of solved any of these issues, or maybe if not solved it, helped it, we'd love to have solutions as well. If you feel like you could share. We have on our YouTube channel, there's a number of videos on there that may be helpful to you. So we will, again, as we email it out, we'll share with you the YouTube channel so you can kind of browse that. Happy cards, where a teacher can request for me to come to their classroom and eat with their students on days that they don't get a prep. Oh, that's a nice way to support them. You give them a little bit of a break, right? That's nice. Happy cards.
I used to just take over for the class on happy cards. Come eat with them, but also, you know what? That's what one of the administrators was doing at the charter. He'll just give them a break because you're having to eat with them. So we just go in and take a 50-minute class for them to just go. And sometimes they want to just catch up on their emails to their parents. they're saying that the amount of emails those people are getting now are doubled what they, and those parents want an answer. So can you imagine working, getting there at 7, working till 3 or 4, and going home and having to answer all these
And
questions? Yeah, they're
I think too, Cindy, something just for them to consider too, and I know as a principal, this might be something difficult to consider, but I would also ask, what are you doing to take care of yourself? So, I often hear principals are like, I'm doing this for teachers, I'm doing this for students, I'm doing this for the parents, but what are you doing for yourself to kind of keep yourself centered and emotionally regulated during this time? Because it's it's really hard for you as well. So,
well, let's do this then. I'll show you an activity. You can do it after you watch Carol. I've got your whole next PD set up for you.
okay.
Well, this is nothing about mindset, but at the very beginning, do hers for a PD, but take a circle. I should have had it ready. Make them draw a circle on I'm sure you've all done this, but now is a perfect time to do it. Take a circle on a piece of paper and have them divide it into no sections yet. How much time are you spending at school, and put a percentage? How much time are just devoting to school? Put a percentage there. How much time are you devoted to school at home? And then start saying, where's your fitness time? Where's your spiritual time? Where's your family time? Where's your me time? Just you time to go to read a book, and for them to be constantly looking at, to try to move that indicator a little bit where it's 50-50. I mean, they really, yes, you want to give 100% to your job, but if you're not well and you're exhausted and frustrated, you can't be doing it. You can't be giving 100%. But I love to do that. I did it at the beginning of the year, and then I did it in December, and then I did it around April, because they were really, closing out the beginning of the year. And I realized that was all in person, but
it's still setting a goal, and it's visual, right?
yeah, for them, visual, and for have that in their day planner for them to be looking at it. And sometimes I think, you know what, the best kudos you can do as principals is if you see them on campus before you do, to walk to their door and say, you know what, tomorrow I don't want to see her that early. Let them know that you know, because when I left sometimes at 7 o'clock at night, I was the principal, so okay, that was all right, but a teacher needs to have a home life. So I would go to them and say, I don't want your car here tomorrow. Go, goodbye, leave. That's a kudos in itself, to acknowledge that you know how hard they're working. They have to have a balance in life.
Yeah.
Have to have
Deborah shared that they actually hired an aide to assist with some of the duties that teachers have been asked to take on. So that's great if you can do that staffing wise. Yeah, talk about a tangible example of how you're supporting teachers. That's amazing.
Right. Yeah. And then, you know what? I know many got, let me go back one more. I don't know, I'm doing it, so I don't know why you can't, to give your teachers a break, to have 2 classes on when a volunteer can Zoom read to them. Well, if I can engage them, and I'm a reading teacher, and I can engage 30, well, they don't have that. Well, yeah, 30, 60 students on, and in a very engaging message to them, not just read to them. It's got to be engaging reading. You've got those 2 teachers able to, yeah, sit there and watch or whatever, but you're giving them some time to just relax, where you're becoming the reading teacher, or not to help them in reading strategies, just to give them a break. And if you have volunteers that want to do it, and you do, we have parents in the community that want to try to do something, let them do that. Let them do that.
Oh, I thought I heard you volunteer that you were going to do that for all of these people.
Oh, well, call me. I've been doing pretty good. I don't charge very much either. I've been for quite a few schools. I have 4th graders. I'm pretty good engaging. Yeah. Kindergarten and preschool. Yes. I'm going to probably be that teacher who calls CPS when the little fork went up the guy's nose, and I'm thinking, where's the parent? Oh, no, I wouldn't call.
Somebody brought that up. Like, parents aren't monitoring.
Yes, they aren't. They are not. Yeah. They are not. And yeah, but no, I'm pretty good at it. I'm pretty good at engaging. I've only got up to 4th grade though, so that's about it. Okay, let's go to the next. We were going to do a mini breakup, but do you want to, I don't know if
No,
you're,
I think let's keep it going. We're losing some people. I think some people lunch break is over, so we've
okay.
started losing
No,
people.
this is just my, oh, huge. This is just a cute, I love this quote. We have to know who we are. Courage ultimately is knowing who you are, your North Star, and regularly checking in to make sure you're still headed there. Because, like everyone's saying, COVID, 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 we don't know. We don't, um, how are we going to help these marginalized students? And those were my students. And I gasped yesterday at our board meeting to see that we lost to 60%, and we were a B charter. And to see that we lost 60% growth points in our first Galileo Dibbles was like, I had a hard time breathing last night. And then for the teachers that are not feeling safe, I think we need to let them know how really safe it is. I saw one of those, comments about getting the teachers to know that it's really to be safe on site, because if you haven't walked in their shoes, you don't know what their um, life is holding on to, or if they have someone that's compromised at home or not just wanting to come. And engaging, you really have to have engaging. But the Savvy Principal, write this down. It's out of Newsweek. They just started at the end of last year, the SAVVY, Savvy Principal. It is amazing. In fact, I read it this morning, but I didn't want to change my presentation because I had it down. But she writes once every other week. Yep, Savvy, yeah, thank you. Savvy Principal and Newsweek. And then huge, all about what's going on right now. So that's what I'm saying. It's nothing out there. And her big thing is social emotional learning and taking care of you as administrators and taking care of the staff and helping them connect with their students. So that's a big one. So you have some homework to do now.
We'll look up the website address for it and try to share that too.
Yeah, great.
Oh, and then Philip shared Kim Marshall memo, great leadership resources. Great.
Yeah, yeah.
I do think that that's key is, there's a lot of people out there that are doing some really great things. And that's another part, I think, of self-care is just taking a minute every once in a while to peruse what's out there and sharpen your saw a little bit, build your toolbox. And these are great examples of resources that you can do. So if you're not taking that time on, even a weekly basis, just to kind of see what's happening out there, or if you haven't joined some Facebook groups, there's great principal Facebook groups. Oh my gosh, I'm on like 3 of them and I love it. So many great ideas and sharing and
Dave Burgess as well, right? Dave Burgess. Dave
Mhm.
Burgess is huge. He writes once a week about just really great new things. Pirate consulting, but he's just really good at that. Yeah, yeah. And I'm going to put mine down. If anyone wants to, here, I'll put mine. You want to talk to me?
Cindy, I'm just going to go back to the statement that you put here, though. I love this idea of the North Star, right? It's about your core values. And if you know what your core values are and you're sharing those core values with others, and you know that you're making decisions that align with your core values, it's really going to enable you to be very courageous, right? Because you'll be able to explain what you're doing. And so I feel like, if you can hold on to that idea of a North Star and maybe put up a star in your office or something and say, this is where I'm going. And I have a mission and I have a vision to get there. Then you're going to be able to do it and make some tough decisions, but you'll be able to stick to them, which I love.
And I think not that you would want to in this COVID era to look at your mission. And you talked about mission and vision. Now is the time that you really need to look at that and see if you're still staying true to that. And if now is the time you need to massage it. We might need to be massaging our vision and missions in this time because we don't know right now where we're going. But if you're true to yourself and knew why you came on that campus and what you're setting out to do for those children every day and the educators that you have the pleasure of working with, I should say, helps keeps you on track. And yeah, you need to look out for yourself as well. Courageous leaders need to really be taking care of themselves as well. Any last comments that you need to make, or Carol's got some? Did you want to talk about the whys and stuff, or do you want to?
Just a reminder. So what we set out to do today was just to talk to you about growth mindset, succession plans, and anticipating future needs. So hopefully we checked those 3 boxes off for you and we're able to give you a little bit of ideas, a few ideas. I know that you have a lot of challenges that are still facing you. That is evident from what you shared in the chat. And I appreciate you sharing that, because we will use that and take that into consideration as we're developing future supports for principals that maybe we can provide out of Canyon Professional Development. So thank you for being with us and for sharing that with you. Our why is always to empower, to educate, and inspire our community, with the idea that you're going to take action and you're going to serve others and fulfill your purpose. So hopefully we gave you some action items to do today. I think Cindy gave you a few little things to do. But just as a reminder, we do have our monthly webinar coming up on September 23rd for teachers. It's called Bite-Sized Learning, and they can join it for free. So we will send this link out to you. And again, it's about project management. So we hope that you'll join us for that. And we have a survey. Don't forget to take the survey, www.bit.ly/virtualpcc. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you more for the work that you are doing with our K-12 students. We so appreciate you, and we know that our K-12 system would not be successful without you. So thank you for the work.
From the bottom of our heart, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you're doing, because I've been in there now. I've been in the ground floor doing quite a bit of it, whether I'm Zoom teaching or helping out in the schools. So I know that you have a lot on your plate. It's overflowing. The spaghetti's dripping. If you need to call me, I would love to talk to any of you. Yeah, we have a long way to go, but we're making progress, and thank you for all that you're doing.
And in answer to the question, yes, this was recorded. We will put it on our YouTube channel in a couple of days, as soon as we kind of take out the stuff at the beginning and the end and make it ready for viewing.
Good.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. It was so nice to, well, not see you.
Thank you for your patience.
With you. Yeah, thanks for your patience with our tech issues.
Have a good one.
Bye, Dennis. Thank you. Bye, Philip. Thanks for being here. Allie, all these people I know, Deborah. Oh,
thank you, Philip.
Their names. Liz.
You're going to give him the YouTube channel. You'll give him that?
Yep, we'll give him. Oh, Daniela, I'm glad you're back. I was going to tell you, I'm glad you're back. I know that you were out for a while. Yay, we'll be in touch. Daniela's over at Pensar.
Oh, okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Brad. Have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, thought we'd stay on as soon as we get everybody off. So I'm gonna just start removing. Some people are funny, they just let it play and then they don't remove themselves.
I meant to give him the next date.
Oh yeah, well, we'll send that out too.
I
And
know,
sometimes for them, and it says having it in the email.
They're from all over.
Yeah, they really are, right? I know now you're getting to see where they're all from. You can finally read it all.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just down to our team now, I think.
Oh, tell Marty, thank you very much.
Back in. Not sure why Rodney came back in.
Corey, tell Corey.
Marnie was the one. I didn't know how to
Corey.
fix it. Oh, I'm so glad she fixed it. She's amazing.
Yeah, slightly. Now you'll send this to me so I can read through some of these.
Yeah, we should save the chat and send it out to you. But oh my gosh, Jimmy and Shonda, thank you.
Thank you. Now I know not to have books under my computer anymore, Jimmy. I didn't know that.
One takeaway from it.
Oh, I learned a lot. I don't know why it wouldn't work. Angela Duck. Oh, that was from Corey.
Yeah, that was from Corey.
Great job.
Oh my goodness. I hate it when that tech stuff happens.
Oh, I
Goodness.
couldn't get on it. You kept saying I was muted by the host, muted by the host, muted by the, I couldn't get
But I
on.
didn't mute. I
I
hadn't
know,
muted.
hon. I know. I know. I,
I didn't turn off the chat. I hadn't muted anybody. I'm like, what the heck?
I know. That's all right. Just got me worried. Just got me worried. So, and we probably would have done a little longer if we had our mini breakout.
Yeah. You
But
know
we
what
were
we might
losing.
do, Cindy? We'll tape the next one that we do for Stephanie, and hopefully it won't have so many tech issues,
Okay.
and we'll put that one on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Unless we want, and we can compare them when we're done and decide which one we think we'd like to put on YouTube. Sound
Okay.
good?
Yeah. Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing it again next week, right? Isn't it next week for Stephanie? Or the week
Yes.
after?
No, the next week, 24th,
Yeah. So
22nd, 24th. It's down there. I've got it. with-
yeah, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Oh, advice, Shonda, Jimmy, any
Yeah,
advice?
right.
It's
Talk
better.
slower. I know. Don't tell me to talk slower. Don't you dare tell me to talk slower.
No, I thought you were doing really good.
I talk so fast. Even my
Did I
husband.
interrupt you too much? I was having ideas while you were
No,
talking.
I want you to. In fact, I feel bad. We stopped at like 1:17. You know.
Actually, it was fine because a lot of people were leaving. I think that it was, maybe an hour might be long enough for these. I think that
Okay.
their principals, they probably
Yeah,
don't
we
have-
lost like 20 people towards the last 20.
Yeah, I noticed right around 1:00 we
But
lost.
their
it.
hour, that's a good, that hour is what they have. They have that hour dedicated. No, I liked all that you said. In fact,
Okay,
I was
good.
going to say to them that last thing, put on your calendar at 3:00 on Thursday afternoons or 3:30, your door's shut and you have to look at one piece of new material research.
Yeah,
Or-
they never take time to do that.
We
Principals don't. They're always so busy running around. They don't take any time to self-renew.
Oh.
So
Are you guys back on campus yet or no?
no, Jimmy's in California.
What?
Yeah,
Isn't Zoom amazing?
nowhere close to
Work.
campus.
You are?
Yeah, over in the Bay Area.
Oh, nice.
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah. So we're all over the place, right? We're all over
Yeah,
the
you
place.
guys, and everyone was all over the place here.
Yeah,
Man, it's neat to see you.
I saw one from like Arkansas.
I know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah.
was trying to go
I
through.
think I want to, Shonda, if you get a chance, that the one lady that had all those really good ideas about social emotional,
Yeah, there was.
remember her? Which one was she? I think I would like to email her. She had good ideas.
Yeah, she did. She'd be good.
Was it Jasmine? No.
And there was one really good on growth mindset, something besides ours.
That was mainly just Corey. Oh, and the one handbook. I think it was the
happy
same.
cards.
Huh?
Did you about the happy cards? Is that something she mentioned?
Yeah, I think it was the same one. Yeah.
And that's Jasmine Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yeah,
might want to reach out to her because we could use, and she had the growth mindset playbook and
Jasmine. Yeah.
Castle. Yeah. I want to email her and see and talk to her a little bit.
Happy cards. She had the happy cards. Yeah. She had quite a few.
Because Philip was on today too, and he's one of my new experts, and I actually picked him up at a PCC. I was like, you know what you're talking about. You get to be an expert. He's
good.
like, oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah, I actually have him. He's going to be presenting we're doing a PCC with San Diego County principals, and he's going to be one of my expert principals for that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and he shared some great ideas too on his. He's got it going on, that guy. Holy moly, he's
Really?
he's so good.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, well, Cindy, nice job. Thank you. I'm sorry for all the tech issues, but boy, you really
I'm glad
helped
we got them
me.
worked out. You guys just prayed really hard.
Like, I'm sweating.
Please.
I'm glistening right now.
I'm thinking, well, Carol's going to do the whole input. I'll just keep going. Good job. Good job.
I was like, well, how about you, Dr. Eric Peterson, who doesn't have rights to talk? Well, let me get
Right.
Go for it.
He's like, he's on Teams with me. He's like, I can't unmute. I can't. I'm like, okay, I told her. And then he's like,
I couldn't.
there was so much happening. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
Tasty couldn't get in for some reason. I'm not sure what happened.
I don't know either, because everybody else got in. Like, seriously, Tacy. And then she's texting me. I'm like, don't text me. I'm busy.
Well,
then-
Britt reached out to me, and I'm like, and then I sent Britt the link in Teams, and she was like, "Well, can you email that to Tacey?" I said, "No, I can't."
I think I got an email too from somebody. I don't know what
Oh,
it was.
wow. Well,
Then
Carol tells me to
later
call
I
you, right?
did.
Yeah.
but-
Carol says, call Shonda and Jimmy to get on. I'm thinking, I don't have their phone numbers.
Oh, that's something we need to fix. We need to get you the phone numbers
I
of the
go, I
office.
get to my phone and I go like this. I don't think they have mine either.
Also, I don't know how to do that. I think I need to figure out how to work that.
How to work what?
The call-in. I've never done that before.
Oh, I know how
Oh,
to
the
do
number.
that. I just meant for me to call you to see if you could walk me through it. Yeah, I've done the call and I did the call.
It's on the appointment generally. Jimmy,
Yeah.
if you open up the appointment the whole way, at the bottom is where the call-in numbers are at if people need
Just
to
to send it to someone, and it works like that.
the original appointment.
And they just call it in. That's all it is.
Yeah, they just call
Yeah,
it.
they don't have any video, they just join by phone.
Just join by phone.
Mhm.
And there's a code.
And that's good to have actually always in case we get any
Call-ins. Yeah.
deaf or hard of hearing people, they will
Ah,
call
there you
in
go.
because then they'll use a relay service to be able to hear
Yeah, but they
presentation.
understand. Yeah.
We learned that at EdKey because they have that whole school, that's for deaf and hard of hearing.
Oh,
And we didn't think about that until like 2 days before the event.
oh yeah.
Like, this
Oh
isn't
my
good.
gosh, yes. Well, Jimmy, in your email, you will see the call-in process because I was emailing Cindy and giving her my cell number because I didn't have her number to text her. Yeah, just so anywho.
So we
And
need to
thank
make sure, and I don't know why I didn't think about that. We should have exchanged cell phone numbers ahead of time. So next time we'll do that, Cindy, before the next one.
Okay.
That way, if you need us, you can get in touch with us. We're so used to working with our internal people that we're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. I go, okay, I'll call them. I don't have, I have Shonda's, but not with me. It's right on my, I don't know. Because I had it one time. So, not Jimmy, so. Anyway, I like your fancy backgrounds. I just said, oh, I'll just have to be my living room.
Yeah.
Oh, Carol, Jimmy said that his can't work with his student worker computer.
I don't know why. It says
Oh, wow.
That's okay. You got a nice background going on there. People will learn a little bit about you, maybe.
Yeah.
it's decent. None terrible.
No, it's very nice.
When your house is so beautiful, Cindy, I mean, my goodness, I'd want to show mine if mine looked
Oh,
like
God,
that.
no, we can't see anything. You can't
Right.
see
You got a
anything.
beautiful picture, lovely door, a nice plant.
Ooh.
Some people use virtual backgrounds that look like that.
And you hear my dog bark? I thought, I can't have this happening. I have a brand new German Shepherd. It can't, we just adopted. And I said, oh, it's not yet. But anyway, not too bad.
That's okay. He was just saying hi to everybody. He was
Yeah,
like, hey, people, I'm here too. Talk to me.
Okay.
So, Carol, you don't want this one on YouTube, not this version?
Or we could put it up, and then I guess if the other one's better, we can always replace it.
Still
Why don't we
recording.
do that?
Sounds great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just thinking if we have fewer tech problems, it might be good. And then I'm not sure who will get, I should get the chat from, I think I'll get an email with the chat. So I'll send you the chat, Cindy.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like that. Okay.
Thank you so much. Cindy, don't forget to send us invoice. Okay.
No big- Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'll see you next week then.
Guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Adios.
Nice meeting you. Good to see you, Shonda. How's your husband?
Doing good. Still teaching. Yes.
Yay.
Amen.
All right. I'm going to end the meeting.
Okay. Bye-bye.
guys.